Jasmine Crockett sat at the view table Wednesday morning, unaware that Meghan McCain had been brought back as a special guest co-host for the day. When Meghan walked out, the audience's reaction was mixed, some applause, some audible groans. The producers hadn't told Jasmine about this surprise, and the tension was immediate. Whoopi tried to smooth things over. She said, "We have Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett here, and joining us as guest co-host is Meghan McCain. This should be an interesting conversation about the state of politics." Jasmine maintained her composure, but her jaw tightened slightly. She said, "Interesting is one word for it. Would have been nice to know the full panel in advance." Meghan jumped right in with her trademark aggression. She said, "Well, Jasmine, surprises happen in politics. You should be used to that by now. Though I guess freshman congresswomen are still learning." The condescension was immediate. Jasmine's eyes flashed. She said, "I may be a freshman, Meghan, but at least I was actually elected. What office did you win again? Oh, right. You inherited a famous last name. My mistake." The audience stirred. This was starting hot. Joy Behar tried to redirect. She said, "Let's focus on policy. Jasmine, you've been vocal about voting rights." Meghan interrupted. She said, "Vocal is right. Lots of performance, not much substance. Seems to be the trend with certain Democrats these days." "Certain Democrats?" Jasmine turned to face her. "Why don't you say what you really mean, Meghan? We both know what certain is code for." Meghan's face reddened. She said, "Don't you dare play the race card with me." "Play it." Jasmine laughed bitterly. "I don't have to play anything. You just proved my point. A black woman mentions coded language, and suddenly I'm playing cards." Classic McCain deflection. Sunny Hostin tried to mediate. She said, "Let's keep this civil." "Civil?" Jasmine stood up. "Meghan McCain wants to talk about civility? The woman who spent years on this show screaming at anyone who disagreed with her? The woman who made everything about her father? That Meghan McCain wants civility." Meghan stood too, her voice already at shouting level. She said, "Don't you dare bring up my father." "Why not?" Jasmine shot back. "You brought him up every single day when you were on this show. Every argument ended with my father. Every disagreement became about disrespecting John McCain's memory. You weaponized a dead man for ratings." The audience gasped. Even the other hosts looked shocked. Meghan was screaming now. She said, "My father was a hero. Your father was a politician." Jasmine matched her volume. "A complicated man who did good and bad things. But you turned him into a saint and yourself into his prophet. And anyone who didn't bow down was a heretic." She walked around the table, energy crackling. "You know what your problem is, Meghan? You've never had to earn anything. Your whole career is nepotism. Your whole identity is someone else's achievement. And you have the nerve to question my substance." Sarah Haynes weakly offered, "Maybe we should take a break." "No." Both women shouted simultaneously. Jasmine continued, "She wants to do this? Let's do this. Let's talk about substance, Meghan. What bills have you written? What constituents have you served? What have you done besides ride your father's corpse to relevance?" Meghan's face was purple. She said, "I've been a voice for conservative women." "A voice?" Jasmine laughed harshly. "You've been an embarrassment to conservative women. You made them all look like spoiled brats who cry when they don't get their way. You single-handedly set back female conservatism by being its worst stereotype. This is the confrontation that exposes privilege masquerading as politics. When inherited influence meets earned authority. When someone who's never fought for anything faces someone who's fought for everything. This moment shows why authentic representation matters more than famous bloodlines." Meghan lunged forward slightly. Security stepped closer to the stage. She screamed, "You know nothing about me." "I know enough." Jasmine shouted back. "I know you got this job because of your name. I know you spent years making this show about your personal grievances. I know you couldn't handle criticism, so you quit. And now you're back for attention." She turned to the audience. "This is what privilege looks like, America. Someone who fails upward. Someone who quits when things get hard, then comes back when she needs relevance. Someone who thinks DNA equals qualification." Meghan was incoherent with rage. She said, "You're just another angry." "Say it." Jasmine interrupted. "Go ahead, Meghan. Say what you want to say. Another angry what? We all know where that sentence ends. Your father would be ashamed of what you've become. That broke Meghan completely. She started moving around the table toward Jasmine. Whoopi stood up. She said, "Security." Now, as security moved in, Jasmine kept going. That's right. Get physical. Show America who you really are. The spoiled princess who can dish it out but can't take it. The nepotism baby who cries victim while victimizing others. Meghan was screaming obscenities now, being held back by security. Jasmine addressed her directly. You want to know the difference between us? I earned my seat at this table. I earned my position in Congress. I earned the right to speak for my people. What did you earn, Meghan? What did you ever earn? Joy tried to intervene. She said, Jasmine, this is getting out of hand. Jasmine turned on her. Out of hand. You sat here for years letting her abuse guests. You enabled her tantrums. You validated her victim complex. And now you want to talk about out of hand. She looked at all the hosts. You all created this monster. You let her turn this show into the Meghan McCain grievance hour. You let her disrespect every woman of color who sat in this chair. And now you want to control me. Security was now escorting both women in different directions. Jasmine shouted as they pulled her away. This is what happens when black women don't play along. When we don't coddle white women's feelings. When we match energy instead of absorbing abuse. We get removed. Meghan was screaming back. You're trash. You're nothing. My father. Your father is dead. Jasmine roared. And you've spent every day since using his corpse as a shield. He's dead, Meghan. You can't hide behind him anymore. Stand on your own or sit down. The studio was in complete chaos. Audience members were on their feet, some shouting support for Jasmine, others defending Meghan. As security dragged Jasmine toward the exit, she kept shouting. Ask her what she's done. Ask her what she's achieved without her name. Ask her why she deserves any platform. Ask her. Her final words before the door closed. Nepotism is not qualification. Tantrums are not discourse. And Meghan McCain is everything wrong with American politics. Entitled, unqualified, and convinced she's oppressed. The privilege jumped out today. The show immediately went to commercial and never returned. For the first time ever, The View ended mid-show due to a physical altercation. Within minutes, hashtag Jasmine versus Meghan exploded online. The footage was everywhere, raw, unedited, explosive. The reactions were sharply divided. Many praised Jasmine for finally saying what others had thought about Meghan for years. Others criticized her for the personal attacks, especially about John McCain. Jasmine posted from her car, I don't regret a word. Meghan McCain represents everything wrong with our discourse. Privilege masquerading as persecution, nepotism demanding respect, mediocrity expecting platforms. Someone had to say it. Glad it was me. Meghan tried to respond on Twitter but made things worse, playing victim while hurling insults, proving Jasmine's points about her behavior. The View released a statement condemning violence and personal attacks, but notably didn't invite either woman back. Political analysts called it one of the most brutal on-air confrontations in television history. The class and privilege dynamics made it even more significant. Notable responses poured in. AOC tweeted, Nepotism babies have controlled narratives for too long. Jasmine for US said what needed saying. Even some Republicans distanced themselves from Meghan, tired of her using conservatism as a personal brand rather than a principle. At a town hall a week later, Jasmine addressed it. I'm not proud of losing my temper, but I'm not sorry for the truth. Meghan McCain weaponized her privilege and her father's memory to silence critics for years. When she tried it with me, I refused to play along. Sometimes the only response to entitlement is exposure. She paused, then smiled. And if calling out nepotism makes me difficult, I'll be difficult every day. Because earned authority matters. Because qualification matters. Because some of us actually worked for our seats at the table. The revolution wasn't pretty. It wasn't polite. It was just a woman who earned her position confronting one who inherited hers. It was merit-facing privilege and refusing to bow. It was proof that sometimes the most necessary conversations are the ugliest ones. Especially when they expose what everyone's been thinking but no one's been saying. That name recognition isn't the same as worthiness, and never was.